Breaking, Britain just witnessed a courtroom moment that could redefine the modern monarchy forever. Behind the heavy wooden doors of London's High Court, a judge reportedly laid out findings that have sent shockwaves from Buckingham Palace to Montecito, and at the centre of it all, Prince Harry, furious, shaken, and according to insiders, blindsided. The allegation that Meghan Markle operated a calculated long-term strategy to manipulate the royal family narrative for power, leverage and global influence. If true, this isn't gossip, it's an earthquake. Sources inside the courtroom say the judge methodically read through private communications that painted a picture not of a couple fleeing hardship, but of a coordinated campaign to reshape public perception, weaponise sympathy and monetise royal pain. Now, the villain in this unfolding drama, according to critics inside and outside the palace, is not an institution. It is a plan allegedly crafted in private messages that dissected emotional moments, mapped out media timing, and evaluated family tensions like chess pieces on a board. And the victim? The monarchy itself, the British public, and perhaps most devastatingly, Harry. Because what stunned the courtroom was not loud accusations. It was the tone, calm, clinical, strategic. One observer described it as a playbook. The judge reportedly highlighted patterns, moments when deeply personal disclosures were followed by media opportunities, emotional interviews aligned with contract negotiations, public grievances paired with brand expansions. It wasn't just what was said, it was when it was said and why. And at approximately 11:17 a.m, according to one legal source, the atmosphere shifted completely. The judge referenced communications suggesting that Harry's emotional recollections, especially those involving his late mother Diana, Princess of Wales, were high-impact narrative anchors. The phrase echoed across the silent room. Narrative anchors. Not grief, not trauma, anchors. Witnesses claim Harry's posture changed instantly, shoulders tense, jaw tight, eyes fixed forward. He did not explode, he did not shout. But those inside say the fury was visible. This is the same prince who walked behind his mother's coffin as a child, the same man who has spoken openly about trauma, therapy and healing. And now, in a British courtroom, suggestions emerge that those raw memories may have been strategically amplified. Let that sink in. If even part of this is accurate, it reframes everything the public thought it understood about the Sussex departure. The mainstream media has barely touched this angle. Headlines are cautious, language softened, but insiders say the implications are massive. Because this is no longer about family disagreement. This is about influence, power, control of the Crown story. According to courtroom observers, documents allegedly reference discussions about timing public revelations to coincide with major royal events, strategic interviews positioned near Commonwealth tours, emotional disclosures aligning with streaming negotiations. It paints a picture of precision. And the palace, sources say, feels betrayed inside Buckingham circles. And there is reportedly a growing sense that the institution was not simply criticised, it was leveraged. Senior aides connected to King Charles III have remained publicly restrained. Official statements are measured, calm, disciplined, but privately. A senior source allegedly described the mood as grave, not angry, grave. Because this strikes at the heart of what gives the monarchy power, mystique, dignity, emotional authenticity. If that authenticity is perceived as manufactured, the damage could be generational. And then there's Prince William. Those close to the Prince of Wales say he has long suspected narrative management behind the scenes. That certain interviews felt rehearsed, that certain accusations landed with surgical timing. If these courtroom revelations validate those suspicions, the fracture between the brothers may no longer be repairable. But beyond palace walls, the public reaction is boiling. In Manchester, one veteran told reporters outside a courthouse annex that he felt played. A nurse in Birmingham said she defended the Sussexes for years and now feels confused and angry. Social media is on fire. Supporters of Meghan insist this is character assassination, a targeted leak campaign designed to crush her influence. They argue that any public figure manages messaging. Critics say this goes beyond PR. They say it's emotional engineering. And here's where it escalates. If private communications prove deliberate attempts to influence institutional outcomes, there could be legal consequences beyond reputational damage. Charity oversight bodies may review partnerships. Corporate sponsors may reassess risk exposure. Streaming contracts could face scrutiny. International allies who rely on the monarchy's stability as soft power are watching closely. In Washington, diplomatic observers have quietly noted the story's potential to undermine Britain's global image. In Paris, political commentators described it as a crisis of royal credibility. And in Commonwealth nations, leaders are asking difficult questions about symbolism and sincerity. This is no longer tabloid drama. This is geopolitical, because the crown is not just family, it's statecraft. And if the narrative surrounding it has been manipulated intentionally, the fallout touches trade, diplomacy, and national identity. Meanwhile, mainstream broadcasters have led with softer angles, relationship strain, personal sadness, and emotional complexity, but they are not leading with the word manipulation. Why? Why are they not interrogating the scale of what was allegedly uncovered? Why are they not examining the timing patterns outlined in court? You deserve transparency. You deserve to see this in full daylight. Hit subscribe right now if you want updates that cut through the spin, because what happens next matters. Legal analysts say the next 48 hours could determine whether additional documents are unsealed, if more messages emerge, if testimony continues, and if Harry chooses to respond publicly. Will he defend his wife fiercely? Will he distance himself, or will silence become his shield? One former palace aide reportedly said if he feels he was guided rather than supported, everything changes. Everything. And there are whispers tonight that crisis meetings are underway on both sides of the Atlantic. Communications teams scrambling, legal advisors assessing exposure, brand consultants recalibrating strategy. And inside Britain, the public mood is shifting from curiosity to fatigue. People feel exhausted by royal drama, but they also feel protective of tradition, protective of authenticity, protective of a monarchy that survived abdication, scandal, war and tragedy. This feels different because this isn't about one interview. It's about an alleged blueprint, a hidden architecture behind years of headlines. And if that blueprint is proven deliberate, it will redefine how every future royal statement is interpreted. Was it heartfelt or engineered? Was it spontaneous or scheduled? Trust once cracked, is hard to restore. Financial markets may not tumble tomorrow because of this, but brand Britain is watching its reflection in the mirror tonight. Investors notice stability. Tourists notice romance. Diplomats notice credibility. And the monarchy has always been part of that equation. If this spirals into a prolonged legal and reputational war, the economic consequences could ripple through media contracts, publishing houses, tourism branding and charitable foundations linked to royal patronage. Already, insiders claim certain sponsorship discussions have been paused, not cancelled, paused. That's how these things begin, step by step, quietly, and then suddenly, explosively. The next 24 to 72 hours are critical. If further documentation emerges, the pressure will intensify. If Harry speaks, the narrative shifts instantly. If the palace breaks its silence, it becomes constitutional theatre. You are not watching gossip. You are watching a potential turning point in modern British history, a clash between Hollywood narrative power and centuries-old monarchy, a collision between personal branding and national symbolism, and right now no one knows which side will blink first. So I ask you, if these allegations are true, is this a betrayal of family and country? Or is it a calculated survival strategy in a ruthless system? Is Harry a victim of manipulation or a willing architect of reinvention? And what does this mean for the future of the crown? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this video, because silence benefits only those who control the narrative. Subscribe now if you believe the British public deserves the full truth. History may look back on this week as the moment everything changed.